Okay, Billy, here I am with another fairway bunker shot here. I've got about 50 yards into the 11th hole.
Okay. Now, are you going to treat this like a greenside bunker, or are you going to hit a fairway bunker like we worked on last month?
I've got my 60-degree wedge with a lot of bounce. It's got 14 degrees of bounce on it, so I'm going to hit it very similar to the fairway bunker shot that we were doing on 12. I'm going to have a little bit wider stance. I'm going to put the ball even further back towards my right foot, and I'm going to try to hit the ball first.
Okay, let's see that shot.
Okay.
All right, Mark. Actually, that's pretty well done. Good fundamentals of the fairway bunker shot, quiet body, ball first. Now, the average player and the average tour player does not actually like a 50-yard bunker shot. It's fairly difficult. In fact, I'd rather be 100 yards in the fairway than 50 yards in the fairway to begin with, let alone a fairway bunker. So, let's talk about another way to hit this shot. Because if you hit that shot and you catch it a little thin, that partial shot, that ball is going to go 70 yards instead of 50 yards. Now that could actually end up over the green and out of bounds. So what I like to do when I get these 50-yard shots is I treat them more like a greenside bunker. When I hit a greenside bunker shot, I like to use my sand wedge or lob wedge, and I like to set up a little bit like I did with the fairway bunker shot, building a stance and being quiet with the lower body, but I prefer the ball forward, so I make contact with the sand before I hit the ball. In fact, I'm not even trying to make contact with the ball in a greenside bunker. Therefore, Mark and I have clubs or sand wedges have bounce on them. Bounce is when the front edge is higher than the back edge, and that was designed so when you swing, you actually bounce the club in the sand and does not dig. If your club face is closed in a fairway or a greenside bunker, you might dig too much sand and the sand will go further than the ball. So we prefer the space to be slightly open to expose more bounce and actually be able to go down and be aggressive with the sand. So with that said, if I take my 58-degree lob wedge, will you hold this for me, Mark? And I take my normal greenside bunker shot, stable, ball forward, and hit sand first, that ball went about 20 yards. That's about the max I can hit because I did not make contact with the ball. If I try to hit it further with that swing, I'm going to overswing and perhaps do something wrong. So what I like to do is I like to take my 8-iron and use the theory that just like in the fairway, the 8-iron will go further than the sand wedge. So I will take the 8-iron and treat it like a sand wedge. However, I need to open up the club face a little bit more with the 8-iron because the 8-iron does not have bounce built in. Once again, bounce is when the leading edge is higher than the back edge. That's pretty flush. However, if I open up the club face, I now have bounce like my sand wedge has. So we have to remember, greenside bunkers, we'd like the face to be open to expose the bounce. Now, Mark hit this shot quite well, but he risked hitting the ball too far or hitting the sand and not hitting it far enough. I am assuring that I'm going to hit the sand and not the ball, so my bad shot will never be as bad as the other bad shot because I'm eliminating some risk. So I will open up the club face, build my stance, put the ball slightly forward, then make a normal sand wedge bunker swing. And now that ball gets on the green. That's pin high. It got there effortlessly. I did not have to try to do anything different than my sand wedge as I did closer to the green. I feel that gives me less risk. My bad shot will not be as bad, and once again, we're in a hazard. Let's try not to make it a 3-stroke hazard. So you just saw 2 ways to hit this 50-yard bunker shot. One like a fairway bunker shot and another like a greenside bunker shot. We've already covered the fairway bunker shot. Let's review the greenside bunker shot fundamentals. A lot like the fairway bunker, I like to dig in my stance, get a little wider and create a base. A lot like the fairway bunker shot, I like to stay still. One difference I like to do is I like to have the ball forward of center so that when I swing down, I can actually make contact with the sand and then the sand pushes the ball out. Whereas a fairway bunker shot, we had the ball first. This shot, we're not hitting the ball at all with the club. Secondly, as opposed to choking down, I keep my normal grip so that I can get underneath the sand. And then finally, we want to expose the bounce, use the bounce of the club. Very important of a greenside bunker shot to use the bounce so that we can swing down and take a divot in the sand and the club will bounce out and push the sand and ball up. It will look like this. So, try these bunker techniques. See if you can get a little bit more success getting out of these hazards and avoiding the big penalty strokes.